The responsibility of a business or owner of a property in maintaining that property is to keep it in reasonably safe condition, and if they're aware of maintenance issues, to take care of those maintenance issues within a reasonable time. The injuries that you see generally are what occurs to you when you fall. You have low back or neck injuries, you have leg injuries, you can have a broken hip, a broken leg, broken foot. Sometimes you can have a fallen merchandise in a big box store. That's a premises liability case, and you can have a head injury, neck injury, shoulder injuries, torn rotator cuffs. I've seen those. So those are typical injuries in premises liability cases. So there are stigmas in premises liability claims. Slip and fall cases are sometimes considered not very good cases. And the stigma is, okay, well, you should have been looking where you were walking. You would have seen what you were getting ready to fall on. If it was a pool of water, why didn't you see that pool of water? But those can be definitely overcome if the owner of the premises is responsible for that pool of water being there and have been there long enough that they should have known that it was there. Then they're supposed to clean it up. It is important to act fast in premises liability cases because evidence always disappears quickly. Let's just use the example: you slipped and fell in some liquid in a big box store, whether it's a Walmart or a Lowe's or a Target, one of those kind of stores. You slipped and fell in a liquid, okay, and you notify the store, and all of a sudden somebody comes over there and cleans it up real quick with a mop, and then the manager comes over 10 minutes later to investigate what happened. Well, I don't even see anything here. So if you're able to take pictures of what it was, then you ought to do that, or at least point out to a manager exactly what happened, and maybe if you're shopping with somebody, have a witness there and say, yes, I saw that. That's important. It's important to do it fast. It's important for a company and their insurance companies to find no liability on the store or wherever the premises were located. And so they're going to try to say it wasn't their fault. They're going to, if say you slipped on a water or something, they're going to say, well, a customer walking right in front of you spilled their iced tea that they were drinking on the floor 30 seconds before you walked over that, and we had no idea that it was there, and we didn't have time to know that it was there. And then if they even get this far, they're going to try and lowball you if they try to settle it with you. They may offer you some low type settlement just to try and get rid of you, and hopefully that you won't contact an attorney and won't go any further. In a premises liability case, the damages available to you are compensatory damages to compensate you for your injury. Compensatory damages include pain and suffering, mental anguish, for the duration of how long this goes on. Or have you had to take off work? So loss of income or wages from taking off work, cost of your medical bills. Those are typical compensatory damages available in a premises liability case. In a premises liability case, the responsible person is normally the owner or operator of the property that you're on. So if you're in a store, it's going to be the owner of that store. If it's not a store, it could be the landlord, owner of the property. So there's multiple people that can be responsible, and a good premises liability attorney will investigate all those avenues. Premises liability cases are typical cases. We've had a number of those types of cases over the years. They're very common. They're as common as car accidents. I've been practicing almost 45 years. I've had premises liability cases that I defended back in my younger day, and the last 25 years I've handled cases for people just like you, because it's more rewarding to represent people than it is companies and insurance companies. And so the last 25 years of my practice, that's what I've done. And I've had a lot of experience in handling premises liability cases. I think my past clients and current clients would say that I'm very involved in their case, that I know what I'm doing, I'm very experienced, that I've given them good advice, I hope to give them good advice. I think they trust me, and trust between a client and the lawyer is probably the most important thing. Client communication is very important. It's important for me to get back to my client as soon as possible. I try to get back to my client. If they call me that day, I'm trying to get back to them that day. Sometimes that's difficult because sometimes you're off in court or meetings or that sort of thing. But I am very mindful that a client, when they call me as their lawyer, they're wanting to know something. And when people want to know something, they're entitled to get an answer back as quickly as possible. So I'm going to try to get back to you, the client, as quickly as I can. I'm a small firm. I'm what we call a solo practitioner. I have assistants, but I'm the only lawyer in my firm. I've got other lawyers in the same building with me that I consult with, so it's not like that. It's just me. Sometimes I step next door and talk to another lawyer and say, hey, give me your advice about this. I feel like it's a real advantage to the client being a solo practitioner because I'm personally involved in their case step by step, all the way through from calling our office the very first time to taking your case to court. In a premises liability case, during your initial consultation, I'm going to want to know about three basic areas. I want to know about you personally. I want to know how the injury has affected you. I want to know what you can do and can't do. I want to know about your family situation. I want to know whether you work and what kind of work you do, and whether you've been able to continue to go to work or haven't been able to continue to go to work. All of those things about you personally, to know how that injury affected you. And secondly, I want to know about your injury, your medical treatment, your medical history, whether you've ever been involved in accidents before. I want to know what doctors you've seen, whether you've been referred to any specialists. Are you currently seeing any specialists? Do you need a recommendation about any further medical treatment that you might need? So everything about your health and medical history I need to know about. And then I obviously need to know about the accident from the premises liability standpoint, everything there is to know about that, who may have been with you on that day, what witnesses there may be, how it happened, whether the owner or store owner investigated it, whether you reported it to them, and then we'll take the investigation from that standpoint, depending on what you're able to tell us in that initial consultation.